The Bills defeat the Ravens. And, they said at the sound we played in the top took the ball away. Look, 3 turnovers were critical here.
Yeah.
I think one of them counts as taking the ball away when the punch-out happened with who fumbled the ball?
Yeah, Mark Andrews.
My brain.
Mark
Andrews.
All right.
Yeah. Long night for Mark Andrews. The Lamar Jackson interception was, I don't know, that wasn't taking the ball away. That was just standing in the right spot when the ball came to you. And then the fumble recovery by Von Miller, that was not, great.
That was
great
Lamar
play by
doing
Lamar
too
Hamlin
much
to get to him, but Lamar dropped the ball.
Right.
He just dropped the ball.
Here's the interception. He reads it the wrong way. He reads the angle in which Rashad Bateman is coming out of the break, and I do think this was Lamar's fault. It didn't cost him points here, but the pressure by Milano makes me maybe not be able to see the angle, throws it up, interception, right? But just causes a little stop in the momentum or the ability to get momentum going from the Baltimore offense, and then this was a huge play, Mike, like you're talking about.
Yeah, he just drops the ball. I guess during the broadcast, and I missed this when it happened, they said it was a strip. It's not a strip. Now, great job by DeMar Hamlin to get in there and create some chaos, but he just dropped the football.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but it's not taking the ball away when the player on the other team just drops the football. Yeah. So, guys, because some Bills fans get we called in the headline, we called it Ravens mistakes. Oh, you can't give us credit for taking the ball away. It's like, well, 1 out of 3 times you took the ball away. 1 out of 3 times you punched it out. That's good. That's what defensive players try to do. The other 2, man, right place, right time.
Well, and, they'll take it.
That's what it's about.
That is.
Single elimination football, Chris. That's what it's about. They're not doing best of 3, best of 5, best of 7. It's one game, winner take all. And if you have a couple of flubs that night, and we've always said that about the Ravens, as dominant as they can be,
this is what they kind of did, right?
To games like last night.
We've seen it in the playoffs. We saw it in the losses this year. Remember, Lamar had the big rant after the Browns game, like, we got to stop beating ourselves and doing this dumb stuff at the end of football games. It was kind of their thing. We thought maybe they had washed their hands clean of it, right, when the regular season started. Or when the playoffs started, excuse me. But, yeah, it reared its ugly head again last night. It started with the interception. The fumble was the ultimate, though, turnover point there because that was just a huge momentum swing. It was a huge point swing. Easily, Baltimore's there in easy field goal range, let alone who knows what else is going to happen with the way they moved the ball that night. Lamar just tried to do too much, right? John Gruden used to always say to me at times, because I could be a knucklehead, he'd go, hey, don't make a bad play worse. That was something he always preached to the quarterbacks, right? Hey, sometimes things happen that are just bad, that are outside your control. Don't try to be Superman and save the day, and then in doing that, because it's so chaotic and things are messed up, that something worse happens. And that's what happened to Lamar. Bad snap, ball on the ground, just go get it. But it's the playoffs. I'm going to make something happen. I'm going against Josh Allen. And, of course, he's Lamar Jackson, and he's been able to do anything he wants on the football field, but that's where it went a little too far, and playoff football, cold weather changes some of those things you might have been able to do in the middle of October as compared to now.
Perfect topic for a little sound from the aftermath of the game. Lamar Jackson speaking to reporters at his post-game press conference on the issue of the Ravens' turnovers. Here he is.
We're a team. First half, I had 2 costly turnovers. Me not holding the safety, me just knowing the coverage, me knowing it was a man, threw a BS interception. It was 7-7 at the time. I believe they scored after that. Battle back, fumble. Snap, trying to make something happen, couldn't throw it. It was like a RPO play, so I couldn't really throw the ball to likely, the offensive line was down the field. So I was trying to make something happen, tried to squeeze the ball, it slipped out my hand. Von Miller picked it up, got some yards. I think that led to points for them. So it's a team effort out there. He been busting his behind, he making plays happen out there on that field for us. Came up short. And like I've been saying all season, every time we in situations like this, turnovers play a factor. Penalties play a factor. Tonight, with the turnovers, we can't have, and that's why we lost the game. Because as you can see, we're moving the ball wonderfully. It's hold on to the ball. I'm sorry for my language. Annoying. I'm tired of
Is Mom going to be mad at him? Was that what that was? Was it? Did he get in trouble for his language, or did he get in trouble because he wasn't mad enough? Remember that? There was something this year.
Yeah, well, the Eagles game. The Eagles game, she was mad he didn't run the ball more and do that. Remember?
Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Mom, I don't know how Mom feels about the language, but I'd have been mad last night he didn't run the ball. I'd be mad last night the Ravens didn't run the ball more. That was working. I mean, Derrick Henry, pound him and pound him and pound him. We know what works, and that's that chess match that, we talk about in the past. When teams get together, in the postseason after they played in the regular season, and the Ravens had it so easy against the Bills, 35-10, Sunday night, Week 4, the 87-yard shot out of the cannon run from Derrick Henry, first play from scrimmage for the Ravens. I think you can outsmart yourself. And, well, they're going to be ready for that, and we got to do this. And it just – and anytime someone says I'm trying to make something happen, that is a quote from somebody explaining why they lost. Trying to make something happen. When you're trying to make something happen, how often does something good occur, Chris, when someone says after the fact, I was trying to make something happen?
Yeah, you're right. Usually it does. It's an explanation for something bad that happened, or just I was in a bad spot and I felt like we needed a jolt and I was trying to make something happen, and that usually leads to bad things. That does, in that mindset. In fact, it's a mindset that Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills have had to get over, and that's why they're in the AFC Championship game, because they've learned how to kind of master that. We don't see those type of stuff from Josh Allen that much anymore. But, yeah, the Baltimore Ravens are going to be sick. They are. I mean, you saw – I have no problem saying this. Baltimore's potential, their talent was greater than the Buffalo Bills. But that doesn't mean they're better. That's the great thing about football. It does still come out to executing the game plan and doing the right things on the football field to win the football game, and that's where Buffalo is a different team right now. Buffalo, let's be serious. They basically won 12 of their last 13. They didn't play the last game of the year against New England. They have found this little magic touch, maybe not quite to Kansas City's margin yet, but where they just go, we're going to find a way to win the damn game. It might not always look pretty, but in certain moments of the football game, when it's a gotta-have-it moment or whatever, they seem to come through. But you saw Baltimore last night. Baltimore, when Lamar Jackson dropped back to pass, he either had 25 seconds to throw because they didn't blitz, and then he found somebody wide open, or they blitzed, and he found somebody wide open. I mean, it was easy for Baltimore to move the ball last night. But Buffalo making the big plays, causing the turnovers, capitalizing when they needed to, and Josh Allen, of course, making a few plays and taking care of the ball there was really the difference in the football game. But I have no problem in saying, yeah, I think Baltimore was the more talented team, but they don't play as good a football when they need to, and especially not as compared to Buffalo right now.
And Bills fans, we will reach the point in the segment where we give your team
we're getting a lot of it.
Credit.
Yeah.
We probably should have started with that, because the reality is Ravens fans might be on media blackout for the next couple of days. You lose a game like that, you're not tuning in to see what, Sasquatch and Turd Ferguson have to say about the game. They're
right.
they're under the covers.
Yeah.
They're asleep. They're incommunicado as it relates to the National Football League. And one guy who might be in that camp is Mark Andrews. And, man, I feel bad for him. First thing I thought of was Jackie Smith from Super Bowl 13. If you're a football historian, Chris, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But Mark Andrews had the fumble that we talked about.
This is huge.
He makes the great catch. Oh, momentum up
They're
the
going.
wazoo.
You're going.
They're
Here they
drive
go
down
again.
The field. They're
You're
going.
Can Buffalo really stop them when they need to? That's what you're thinking, right? That's where it's big. And then the 2-point conversion here.
His first fumble since 2019. And then I'm watching the thing on my phone somewhere in the bowels of Pennsylvania. And I'm like, oh, my God, we're going to overtime. And it's like, wait a minute. What?
I know.
He dropped it?
You couldn't really see it all the way because of the crowd on the sideline and all that. And really, guys, if we can, let's play this whole sequence again, if you don't mind, there in the back, and because so I could break it down. This was again, of course, the drop, and I want to break this down specifically too, Mike. I'd like to hear some of your thoughts. But I mean, you're right, Mike. I mean, again, but to speak to, this is what I'm talking. Here's a 4-man rush. Okay, he just moves in the pocket. He had a little pressure, but wide open person downfield. It started to get easy for Baltimore. But, man, Buffalo just made the big plays. Terrell Bernard, Matt Milano being in the lineup, being healthy. But this, Mike, right here, I'm with you. I thought he caught it at first. Mark Andrews should catch that ball all day long. He knows that. But Lamar Jackson's also going to get a negative grade from his coaching staff in this throw.
Why?
Because the fact that he double clutches it, the play, he's open way earlier than that, right? The ball should be on him when we basically see Lamar coming to the screen. So he made it as hard as it possibly could be for Mark Andrews. He's sitting there going, wait, I've been open. Hold on. Oh, no, now I'm getting close to the sideline. Oh, no, now the ball's a little behind me. Oh, the ball didn't get thrown with the same pace because you saw Lamar. He kind of threw it like a dart, right? And again, he should catch that. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just saying Lamar's the MVP, and he'll even say, I should have thrown him a better ball there.
What was he doing? Was he being tentative with Andrews, or was he like pumping to somebody else? There's nobody else there.
No, I think
there's one guy deep.
Yes.
There's one guy deep, but I don't think he was throwing a fake to him.
I'm with you. I think it's Andrews. I think it's Andrews. He saw him. I think he saw him wide open, and then he just maybe wanted him to see the throw. And, right, you kind of baby it in that moment to a degree. And, again, like we all are saying here, you could see he should catch the ball. But the ball did kind of die out on him, and it was behind him. And then if you're Mark Andrews, yeah, he's going, hey, it's cold as shit out here. The ball's slick already. I'm by the goal line. I'm worried about catching the ball, keeping my feet in, and I'm not exactly sure.
Getting it across
exactly.
Before I go out of bounds.
So that's all I'm saying. Mark Andrews, catch it, but Lamar Jackson, we know, is the MVP. He's the man. He made so many freaking plays last night. It was unbelievable. That's just one he's going to wish, I could have been a hair sharper, a little bit better on that one.
Well, the season was riding on it. I mean, they appropriately and accurately said the season was riding on it for both teams. Now, the Bills would have still had a chance to win the game in overtime or with the final few seconds that were left. But there was still like a minute and some change left. But it was clearly the season riding on it for the Baltimore Ravens.
Right.
I love the psychology of the gotta-have-it 2-point play. Because I've said in the past, wait a minute, why do you want to hand it off in a situation like that? When you have a quarterback who is an incredible dual threat, one of the best of all time, you leave it in his hands so you can maybe throw, maybe run. I don't like cutting the field in half.
I hear you
in
there.
that moment.
I hear you there.
I don't like the low-high option. We saw Andrews at the front of the goal line.
Yeah.
We saw Isaiah Likely at the back of the end zone. And where's the run option there? When you draw everyone with you, it's not like he's going to run through that.
No.
I'd like to see straight drop. Lamar Jackson, straight drop. Okay? You got a guy to your left. You got a guy to your right. You got maybe a couple of guys in the middle. And if all else fails, zoop, 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 and you run into the end zone.
Right.
I just feel like that puts more pressure on a defense. You talk all the time about defending every blade of grass. When you're down in that box, 12 yards, 53 across, make them defend the whole freaking thing.
Hey,
Don't cut it in half.
Right. I hear you. Listen, I'm all with you on everything you're saying there, 100%. Like we saw in the play before where he scored the touchdown. They sent everybody out. He bought time. He puts pressure. Somebody comes open. Boom. Touchdown. Now let's go for the 2-point conversion. I don't like the sprint right option, Joe Montana, Dwight Clark play a whole lot either because everybody gets to see it. They practice it against it all year long. But this one was a little different. And you can't argue with the results here. They knew they were going to get man-to-man because I think they were worried about being overpowered at a quarterback run or Derrick Henry run. So, right, this is a play where they went, 2-point play. We got a good feel for how they're going to do it. And the play was really just for one person. And if we could play it one more time there, guys, the 2-point conversion, you could see they got exactly what they want, and then Rashad Bateman just sits there at the line of scrimmage and picks Mark Andrews' guy, again, because Baltimore's in man-to-man. See? He gets in the way of DeMar Hamlin. So they got everything they wanted, and it's two of their best players in franchise history just did not make it happen at their utmost capability. Andrews got to catch it. Lamar should throw it better, but I'm certainly not going to argue with the fact that Todd Monken got a guy wide open by 5 yards on the goal line. You know, we can't argue that, Mike.
And look, yes, Andrews should have caught the ball. And you're absolutely right, though. Lamar needs to get it out faster because that is a hell of a thing to try to do as you're falling to the ground. You know your ass is going to slam against that rock-hard surface, and you got to get it over the goal line before your butt slides out of bounds.
That's what he was worried about.
That's a lot to
exactly.
do. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.